Hi, today I want to answer the question, is therapy failing you? Is talk therapy failing you? That's really the question that I want to answer, explore, and uncover. And there is a time that this can really feel very true that talk therapy is failing you. And I want you to understand the brains, why this is the case, so that you can add in the thing that will get you transformation and healing. And this is really from the perspective of people dealing with anxiety, depression, and complex PTSD. Also, PTSD. So this is very specific to this group, and this group is very different. And this group is not always supported how it needs to be supported. And as a result, these groups of people can really go on and still feel, after decades of therapy, like their anxiety is still controlling them. Their mood is still controlling them. Their triggers are still controlling them. And even though they're doing the work, they're doing the work. And this is really fatiguing. And it takes it's a lot of time devoted to your mental health to not get the results. And this is where I see people giving up. This is where I see people giving up on many things and missing out. And I don't want you to lose your opportunities, what you're here to do, your fulfillment, your goals. And so I want you to see this shift that is transformational, that will really end these things, end the anxiety, the depression, and the complex PTSD symptoms ruling your life, and get you free from your compulsions, free from your triggers, living beside your triggers and not getting triggered, like actual tangible results. That's what I'm in this for. I'm not in this so that you're just continuing to cope and cope and cope and never ending coping, but that we're actually healing. You're able to drive your car without a panic attack. You're able to take your kid to the doctor without panic attacks, right? Let's go. We have things to do. We want to be able to show up and do life well, and you deserve it. And I don't want you spinning your wheels here, and you can. There are plenty of people before you and around you have have been here and done decades of talk therapy and did not get the results. And this shift, I get a lot of people that come to me that have done decades, and yet they still have daily symptoms of anxiety, depression, or traumatic stress. And all of a sudden, we do a little bit of work, a week, 2 weeks, and they're like, this is more than I got out of decades. There's a reason for this. And it's specific to brain function. If your brain function is doing this, you need this, not talk therapy. And I'm going to explain that. I'm going to show you what is happening there. Okay, so I'm Rachel McLeod. I'm a mental health therapist. I'm an emotional wellness coach. And I specialize in helping people do the brain work for resolving symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. And the brain has a very beautiful process for this. That process is electrical. It's awesome. It's fast. I want to say this process. It's not this, but I'm going to say it like this because it's fun. It's the gateway to the executive functioning. It is. It is the gateway to your inner healers. If your life is like you don't have enough executive functioning, this process isn't running well. If you have a lot of symptoms of anxiety, depression, traumatic stress, this process isn't running well. It may be stopped, it may be blocked. And so we can get you so much more executive functioning by opening up this thing. We can get you so much more healing by opening up this process. And so it's phenomenal and it's fast. It is so fast and simple. As a matter of fact, if I was to this is my source of frustration. And if I had a soapbox where I just kind of lost my mind on, it would be this, like, this is so easy. Why is this not in every single therapy? Okay. But we're getting there. Okay. I digress. I could totally digress down there and you'll watch me spiral out and not behave well. So we're not going to go there because I need to iron that out a little bit. I need to do this brain process for my feelings around this. But this is, there's so much potential for healing when your brain can actually do its healing, processing, and executive functioning work. When your brain can go through its process of solving problems, changing your behaviors, upgrading your systems, transforming your subconscious programming, shifting from survival-based living to thriving living, ending generational patterns. Get out of here. Why wouldn't we want to focus on this brain process running? Right? That's what I have a hard time understanding. So, okay, this part gets stopped and blocked, and all I really help people do is get it unblocked. Um, and so sometimes if I have complaints in my videos, people are like, it is that you're talking about the process, but you're not saying the process. And the truth is, it's just using these interventions. And I share these interventions, my favorite 3, in my free program, Interventions for Inner World Transformation. Like, here, have some. Try these interventions. See if they help your brain open that process. If they get that process up and running, that's transformational, powerful. And I don't. I do that in those videos. Here, I talk about what your brain can do. Okay. So grab one of those, the description's in the link, get on there, watch the training and try them out and see if your brain makes the shift. That entire program is designed to show you what shifts we're looking for and to see if that intervention helps. If it doesn't, throw it out, because we need this process unblocked and flowing. Okay. And this takes me straight into talk therapy, that this is your brain's process for healing, resolving symptoms, growing, releasing old ways of being, ending cyclical dysfunctional patterns. And if you're not doing it, it's not happening. Okay? If your brain is not in that process, there is no amount of talking that is going to get you past what your brain will do. It's like trying to walk around and I actually don't have a femur. It's like I'm not going to, it's the absence of what is needed to create that healthy gait is gone. Right? Now, that's a terrible analogy. My brain made it up on the fly. But you can understand we're trying to, and you would have to build something to help you carry on without that. And that is what coping strategies are for with mental health. But unlike the physical body, where you can actually build stuff and customize it, we can't do that without this. This process is your customizer. It's the one that makes function happening. It's the one that it's the one that does all your healing work. You want healing work, but you don't, this process isn't running. You want healing work, but we're not going to actually use your healing process. Okay? And let me show you how this all comes together. Okay? Talk therapy strategies are for your prefrontal cortex, your thinking center, your conscious mind. That part of the brain is very smart. It's where a lot the healing would happen. It can understand intense, complex issues, but what it can't do is change your subconscious programming from that point alone. It cannot change how you're showing up. It can't change how your heart is racing. It can't change how your stomach is feeling nauseous. It can't change every time you see this person, your body breaks out in sweats. It can't change that. That's not the design. And that's why we're not resolving these symptoms, because we're working with a part of the body in talk therapy that does not create change at these levels. It doesn't help the body release these somatic responses to our environment, to our life, to our problems that really lead to fight, flight, freeze, faint, fawn. And so we understand things, but we're still fighting about it. We're still fawning. We're still shutting down, collapsing, avoiding, procrastinating. And so we understand, but we are doing the survival behaviors. And we can't get out of that because we're actually not moving with the body's process for that. The body needs to go through its process of learning. We don't need those. We need to do this instead. Right? Talk therapy isn't working with that process. If we come down in the brain a little farther, we're going to see the limbic system, the survival system. This is the one that blocks healing from happening. It turns off executive functioning. It turns off rest digest mode. It turns off that stuff and shifts into survival mode. Right? This part is the one responsible. It's the gatekeeper for whether we will respond with symptoms of anxiety, depression, or traumatic stress, fight, flight, freeze, faint, or fawn, or if we'll take the same information, the same triggers, and we'll actually use them for processing, growth, understanding the world, healing, reorganizing, rewiring, right? The survival system's responsible for that. So if we just come down to this part of the brain, the survival system, when we work this flip, all of a sudden this is open and running. That your brain's process for healing, rewiring, processing, learning, adapting is open and running, and you will watch it do all the things. This is powerful. So if this part is blocking or allowing the healing process, why don't we work with that part? Right? Why don't we come in here and make sure we're in a processing mode when we're in talk therapy? Why don't, when we're facing our triggers, instead of just reacting, why don't we also react and shift our brain to processing mode? So what if we were having a panic attack and we could use some interventions that shift us over here? And now our brain is processing the panic, is processing the fear, is processing all the stuff instead of just reacting to it. And in these things in the early beginning, you're going to watch the brain process and react at the same time. But you'll watch next time you have the same trigger, you'll notice that processing has occurred, because you will actually process more, and you'll also notice your body is reacting differently and less intensely, because we're actually walking through the body's process of resolving anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress. And this is way more awesome than anything that is occurring in talk therapy. And if this is what you need, this is what you do, and it's way more awesome than talk therapy. If this process is already running, then talk therapy is going to be wonderful for you. It's going to be fabulous. You're going to have a blast. But if this process is not running, talk therapy is going to be torture, is going to not get you any results, and it could re-traumatize you, and it could make things worse. And I know you know. I know you know. I have so many clients that said I gave up everything. I wasn't going back to therapy because it was making my symptoms worse. Yes, it does. And that's a perfect sign that this process is not running. And why are we overlooking this in the therapeutic community? Why are we overlooking that some people's survival system does not have enough safety signaling to stay in a regulated processing state? But we're going to ask you to regulate. We're going to ask you to process and heal. And we're going to walk you through the process, but your actual brain process for it isn't available. And then when you fail, we're going to say, well, you just didn't work hard enough. Well, you aren't. No, your survival system is blocking your healing process. And there are signs and symptoms all over this. And let's get that on board too. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Okay, many of my clients, and I keep a lot of my complex PTSD clients around longer than my just a little bit of anxiety here, a little bit of anxiety there, because the people that have a little bit here and there have had childhoods where their survival system was supported a lot and given tons of safety signaling in the way that that part of the brain understands. And so their survival system is not on red alert overreacting, and their actual mind-body system works together very well. So we do a little bit of work and poof, gone. They're off and running. Problem solved. It's fun. That's like little popcorn snacks, right? In the therapeutic world. That's fun. And, right, we've got this other population of people that their childhood did not offer very many safety signals, right? That the survival system part of the brain could receive, right? Remember, the survival system is different than the thinking center. It doesn't understand logic or reasoning. It is listening to the information coming up from the environment through the body, internally, external environment, through the body to understand, are we safe or not safe? If there's pain, we're not safe, go. If our hand is touching a hot stove and we're getting burnt, we need to react, and that part of the brain reacts. It steps in to react to keep us safe. And so, in order for it to not react and allow processing, it needs to receive signals from the body that it's safe. And if pain is moving, like what happens if a child falls, the pain is in the knee, right? But also, mom is grabbing the child and rocking the child. Shh. Some moms are grabbing the child and saying, "Why did you fall?" Right? That's not a safety signal. Hello. That is, I'm in pain and now there's more pain. Now there's social pain and relationship pain. My little brain is not receiving the survival system signals that I need to shift out of pain mode and into processing mode. And that's an opportunity lost for that nervous system. That's a time when it should have been learning about safety and it wasn't learning about safety. And there are populations around here where the safety signaling is so low that now they're in adulthood and their survival system is doing all of this. And they can't get into processing mode. They can't get into healing mode. And you're going to sit across from them and talk? You're going to have them talk to you about it, and their survival system is doing this and is sitting there in the room worried about, are they going to say something to reject us? Because their survival system is now overreactive. It has not learned that the world is safe. Okay. And the simple correction for this is to start sending safety signals now through the body. And why I love this work is because we as adults can do this for ourselves. It's the design. We're supposed to be. This is why I cannot do this with children with dysfunctional parents. And that's because the parent is designed to wire that child for wellness. And if the parent isn't well enough, then I'm going to sit here and work with this child to do safety signals, and they're going to outgrow their parent. And now I'm going to create a whole nother problem for them. I don't know how to resolve that. I don't have it in my soul. That's for lots of other therapists. And thank you that you're doing that work. So here we are. We have the ability to put in safety signals into our system and shift it into the mode where it can heal. We're actually getting to shift it into a processing state for the first time, maybe forever, since the beginning of your time. And there will be some areas of your life that have never had safety signaling in it. And so we're going to put those in there. That's this work. That's a big piece of this work. And when we're doing this, and even people that just take my free program, and lots of people only take my free program, them using it a lot is allowing their mind-body system to finally do the work it wants to be doing. They don't often have the skill to navigate to help their brain. Hey, let's work over here, teamwork right here. But the amount of healing that can happen from the brain's own wisdom by just getting it into healing mode is phenomenal. This helps the mind-body system rebuild its foundational safety. Its foundation, its emotional foundation, mental foundation, relational foundation, social foundation, physical foundation in many cases, especially when we've got diseases in the body that are stress related. Absolutely, we're overhauling that with this switch. A lot of simple, beautiful things can happen because your mind-body system wants to heal. It knows it can. It knows exactly how to do it. It just hasn't been able to stay in the brain state where healing occurs long enough. Okay? Now, I will tell you, with this population that doesn't have a ton of safety signaling in their childhood where it was developmentally supposed to occur, we do it now. And you can understand that after 2 decades of living, or 3 decades of living, or 5 or 6, 7 decades of living, 8, there's a lot that hasn't been processed. And there's a lot of work to do. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity, and this is a fun thing. Brains do this beautifully. And even if you're 70 and have all these years, have never touched a lick of any self-help or anything, you'll watch when you shift your brain into processing mode, it has its own healing priorities. It knows exactly what it needs to do. You will notice transformation occurring that is meaningful to you and that helps you gather more motivation, more feeling more rested, feeling more organized, feeling more insightful, more regulated. That will happen in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You'll watch it grow and grow and grow because your brain is in the state where it's growing your health and wellness, right? And we're gonna need to do it a lot. And this is usually very fatiguing for people with anxiety, long-standing anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. Because this is one, we're doing self-care. Number two, we're working with a layer of their life that they haven't practiced, that wasn't shown them how to do, so they don't have endurance, skill, these sorts of things. So this is where I'm beside them. I'm like, let's go. Get another collarbone, breathe, get another collarbone, breathe. And then they're like, oh. And I'm like, okay, take a break. Right? Because we just like when we're lifting weights, we want to go, we want to do the reps, but then we want to get into exhaustion and fatigue, but we don't want to go much farther than that. But we want to get into that spot because we're signaling to the brain, hey, build me some things. And we want to do that with our emotional health. Hey, build me some endurance for self-care. Hey, build me some endurance for this regulating my nervous system issue I'm doing. Hey, build for me this, And so we are doing this a lot. We're doing this as much as you can in your life for up to 2 hours. And some people are like, I have more time. I want to do more time. There's ways you can do more time safely. But really, can you get to 10 minutes? Can you use these interventions? Can you hold your brain over throughout the day? Maybe it's only 30 seconds at a time. Maybe it's a minute at a time. Maybe it's 2 minutes at a time. Can you hold your brain over in this processing, healing, regulating state for 10 minutes throughout the day, 20 minutes throughout the day, 30? It will grow. I promise you, you will. If you keep this up, you will get to those 2 hours a day because it's fun. Because you'll start to see problems. You'll be like, ooh, that's let me use my interventions and see what my brain can do. And all of a sudden the problem is more organized. The solutions are showing up. Your brain rocked it, and now you know what to do. And your brain built for you the endurance and the perspective and the insight and the motivation to do it. And I'm talking, but try this and see what you notice. A lot of you who think you're unmotivated, that's not true. Your energies are being used for survival mode. That's expensive. It will burn through your stockpile of energy in a moment. There will be no more energy for motivation. And you could be a very motivated person if your brain, mind, body system wasn't doing survival system work. So we want to call that back. Our brain goes into survival mode. We say, oh, there it is. Let's move over to processing. Let's move that over. Let's create that shift. And that's what we're doing all day long. That's the process. You want to know how to solve this? There. But it sounds too simple, and that's fine. I want you to do this experientially. I want you to doubt what I'm saying and grab some interventions, pick one that works, and use it a lot. See what happens. I double dog dare you. Anyway, so let me say a couple more things here. This is the question. Okay, is talk therapy failing you? Now, I want to know, how much safety signaling has your system really received? How many hugs? How many touches? How many, I can see that you're really stressed right now. Oh, that must be difficult. Hey, let's do it together. How much safety signaling has your system received through your body? How much safe touch? How much concerned, compassionate touch have you received? Some of us have sounds in our environment that are scary. How much healing around that? How many positive safety signaling sounds are in your environment? If you could think about this like a nervous system, it's reading all of the senses for safety signals. Right? That's why food is very much a safety signal. And if you've got eating challenges, like eating disorders of eating, excessive eating, a lot of that is your system trying to go get safety signaling. It's like, well, I don't know, but I found this one. and it works. If I eat this, I start relaxing, right? But then it starts to shame spiral. So it's not, it has a double-edged sword to it. Same thing with alcohol. Same thing with all these things could be safety signals that your system's trying to get. And what I'm telling you with these interventions is they're safer than all the things, and they work quickly. And I want you to eat and do all the things as needed for your body, but not to do your emotional healing. It's a lot of pressure on the body in a way that's not designed to actually handle. And so that's why we need the regulation that comes from these things, but we don't need these things in the amount we need them. But we are overcompensating for our inability to regulate our nervous system in other ways. And so when we put one of these interventions in, we can use that a lot, even if we only have one. And that's the only one we use. And often I will just stick with one with clients. If doing that over and over and over again, there's no known side effects, except for like sometimes my clients will tap a little too hard when they're mad. But I'm like, hey, don't abuse the body. Hey, gentle touching. So, but right, we're working on growing and healing and giving our mind body system what it needs. So the other piece I want to talk about is that some people is that with how much safety signaling have you actually received? The areas that are functioning the best in your life, you've received the most amount of safety signaling there, that your survival system registered as safety, not your thinking center. Those often don't match. Sometimes they do match, but your survival system is like, ooh, that is good. When we have enough safety signaling, the mind body system is safe to build health and wellness and high function. In the areas where you have the least amount of function, often for people with complex PTSD, it is with intimacy. That's the least amount of function is in there. That's because with intimate relationships, that's where you've received the least amount of safety signaling for your survival system. And that's why when I'm helping people build out their intimacy programs, we are safety signaling a lot. We're using these interventions a lot to get the survival system enough safety signaling to start healing, growing, and creating higher and higher function, creating comfort and safety in that spot. If there's enough safety, we'll have high function. Some people have their complex PTSD has impacted so many areas of their life. We are just safety signaling everywhere. And if you're somebody who has one trigger in one area, in that trigger, how much safety signaling have you had in that spot? For instance, if your trigger is a car accident, and every time you get in the car, you're gripping the seats, you're sweating, how much safety signaling are you getting in that moment and around there, right? And if you look, there's probably not that much. That's why we're going to use an intervention right there, and we're going to create safety signaling there. Do you see this is not talk therapy? Do you see this is where tapping, where it might be rocking? I have some people holding different parts of their body. We're doing collarbone breathing. I teach these interventions in my training where we're doing whatever, and we're testing this before we even begin any work. I want to see results. I want to see your brain go from here to here, and I want it to do the things that we do over here before I'm going to say, okay, I think we're ready to go do some processing work. Because if your processor doesn't work, we are lying. We are not going to do processing work because your processor is not in a processing state. Do you see this is math? We are not guessing about this. We are doing the thing. Okay? So we're going to hold it over here in that state. And when you're in your car and you're gripping your wheel, we're going to see, can you do your preferred intervention? And can you get your survival system 2 minutes of safety signaling? Can you do that? And let's see what happens. And I'm just going to tell you, your brain's going to rework that, and you're going to find yourself not gripping the handle anymore. You're going to watch yourself starting to chat and have fun in the car with people and make jokes and act like a relaxed, calm person, because your nervous system was able to build and rebuild your way of being in the car, even though you had that experience, that traumatic experience. right? And so those are some guidelines. So some people have global impact from complex trauma, and some people have specific areas. And the healing is all dependent on how much safety signaling the survival system's getting. And that's really the key. And I want to hand you these keys. I want you to hand you them. Unlock your brain's ability to thrive. Unlock your brain's ability to resolve symptoms. Unlock your brain's ability to create higher function. Let's go. That's really what I'm doing, what I want to do. So I do invite you to try my 3 favorite interventions. It's a free program. The link to that is in the description part of this. I also, if you find an intervention that works and you want more guidance, I have an online course where I give you exercises to use those interventions to help your brain do specific work in your inner world, and then to work it all together. And this is my process for helping people resolve disorders. Okay. And so I teach very simple stuff that becomes very complex stuff. And I want you to be better skilled than most therapists in your community, because you need it. You will be with your brain forever. And so I want you to have the skills. So these are my skills, taught in a way I've found that people can receive them and build on them and really build some complex, wonderful abilities to support themselves and unravel traumas and rebuild their foundation or rework, and how to find out if your foundation is off or not, and all sorts of things in there. But it's very, very simple. As a matter of fact, I don't even teach some of the stuff directly. I just know it's in there, and then you just start discovering. It's kind of like an Easter egg hunt. You go do the things, and then you're like, you see all the little eggs, and you pick them out. Look at this! Look, my brain did. Oh, we fixed this, and we fixed that, and so it's a little different way of learning, but it's in alignment with how the brain works. I don't want to work with your conscious mind. I want to work with your mind-body system. I want your survival system allowing healing. I want to shift your brain into a processing state and create some health and wellness for you and see what happens then. Okay? And I want you to see what happens then. And then I don't have to prove anything to you. Then you're telling me, and you are email me, and you're like, Rachel, look what my brain just did. And then I say, that's so awesome. That's what I want. Okay, so also, if you want to work with me one-on-one, I'm available for that. I also have a small group. I have small group coaching programs. Those are available. You can learn more about that on my website. And yeah, heal. This is fun. Take some of these interventions to your next therapy session. Make this safety signaling a top priority for you. And you're going to watch yourself grow and grow and grow. And until our field gets to a place where we're combining it together, I want you to know they need to be combined together, and you can combine them for yourself. Okay? Until we catch up. All right? I don't want any more people with complex PTSD failing therapy, talk therapy, marriage therapy, and you will if your processor isn't running. And then you will think it's you, and you will think that there's something wrong with you and that something's broken. No, you have a process that's not working, but that's because it didn't get the support to become a stable, sustainable, high functioning. There's a word here, ability in your childhood. The ability to process and regulate with your emotions and your experiences happens in childhood. So because it didn't happen there, we can still build it now. And you can heal and thrive and have a great time. Okay, I'll see you all later. Take care. Bye.